Well, there was a time when there were people who I always sought advice from, but they've since passed on, and so now it's my family, contemporaries of mine from home and in and around Auckland, but people on the street, so to speak, my grocer, my butcher, those people who know that and the barber, of course, who know that I'm involved in politics, and they always have a view, and I like listening to and hearing what they're saying, because it helps form an opinion for me when I come to Wellington. I think that homelessness and the impact that has on a large number of people, because the New Zealand of today is certainly different from the New Zealand, one, that I was born into, two, that I was raised in, and three, when I started my political career. And that, for me, is the major issue, those differences, because I think that we've tended to regress rather than progress. First of all, look at the situation that they currently live in. If they're happy with that particular situation, and in their mind it's good for New Zealand and their fellow citizens, then vote for the status quo. If you're not happy with the situation that you're living in, or a number of your fellow citizens are living in, and that you think that we can do better, then you start identifying the different policies of the different parties, and then vote for that party whom you think will provide the most benefit to not only to your situation, but to your fellow citizens. Well, I always used to think that we as Māori should get more than probably we would be entitled to, given the social position, the position that we have on the social indices. My view has radically changed on that, in that we are no different from our fellow citizens. What needs to change is how do we improve our access to those things that will help us to get on the same level as most of our fellow citizens. I think just the love of my country, but also being very appreciative of the life that I was brought up in, and that was provided for by my parents, who weren't well off in any stretch of the imagination, but they gave me a sense of being of service to your community. And I've never lost that sense of community. In fact, Dad was often away from home serving his community, while Mum and I were left to running the farm. And as a kid at the time, having to take all that responsibility, I swore to myself that I would never ever worry about anyone else. I'll just worry about myself. And it's quite ironic that I've turned out to be just as committed to my community as my father was. Oh, look, I believe in the power of prayer and the power of the Holy Spirit. And so if I was to ask you anything of you, would be to pray. Pray not only for Pita Paraone, but for all those who put their hand up to stand for public office, because it does take a sense of courage, but it also takes a high level of support from those that love you and that you love. Because without that support, you're wasting your time.